Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the Opposition Preview. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, get your thoughts in the comments below. And on Sunday, Chelsea welcome Nottingham Forest to Stamford Bridge, looking to make it 6 wins on the spin in all competitions, but yet to beat Forest at the Bridge since they got promoted back to the Premier League 2 seasons ago. So we are due a win at home against them. To discuss the game, discuss Forest's start to the season, what we can expect, delighted to be joined by Wolfie from Forest Fan TV. Mate, great to catch up as always. It's been a pretty good start to the season for Forest. I can't lie. I think they've taken me by surprise a little bit. Maybe Forest fans might be surprised about the start as well. Slipped to your first defeat of the season against Fulham last weekend, but generally speaking, you've looked quite good. You know, a great win at Anfield, good point against Brighton. Arguably should have won that game, really. Life's looking quite good under Nuno.
I think it's the first time we're both sitting here quite happy, mate. In all the times we've
it makes a change, doesn't it? Makes a change.
It's weird. It's been, I mean, there's obviously the promotion season where I was a bit of a happy clapper, and then go back like 20 years to the last time I was not Forest depressed. So yeah, it's been good. But at the same time, we should have been doing better, because if you look at the first game against Bournemouth, we conceded very late after dominating them. Against Wolves, we should have beaten them. They scored a worldie. So, you know, that's 4 points that we've dropped. And then even against Fulham, we should have had a penalty. Elanga was fouled, in my opinion, and wasn't even referred to VAR. So as good as it has been, I think it could have been better, which is a good, you know, negative to have, if you like. So I'm happy with it. And, you know, if it wasn't for Nuno getting the tactics wrong for the first time, I would say, against Fulham, I think we could have done a lot better. So yeah, I'm very happy. There was a point, I think, when we were ahead at Brighton, we were 4th in the league, which was like, you know, nosebleed times. It's been a while since we've been that high up in the Premier League. So I can't complain, mate, but I still will find something to complain about.
Mate, talk to me about Nuno, because, you know, he's obviously, he did a very good job at Wolves. He's won the coveted Saudi Pro League during his career. He obviously, the spell at Spurs didn't go to plan. He sort of was a bit of a laughing stock after that. I think he's a good manager. What are your thoughts of him in general? How have the Forest fan base taken him? Because he's been there, I would say he's been there a while now, but he certainly had a period of time there. You know, are they more accepting of him? I mean, what's the feeling surrounding Nuno at the moment?
So when Nuno came in, you had the Cooperites who were, we will go down with Cooper, you know, and there was a big bunch of them. They were not accepting of him. They weren't against him. I'm not putting words in their mouth, but, you know, for them, Cooper was the world. With me, I was like, yes, please, thank you, anyone but. So it took him a while, but he came in and quite quickly beat Newcastle away, then beat Man U at home, and things were looking rosy off the bat. And then we got hit with the PSR stuff, with the finances. You'll know about that with your hotels, but anyway.
Mate, don't hate the player, hate the game.
and he lost his way a little bit in that period. And bear in mind, he'd taken over a squad that wasn't his squad. So there was a section of the fan base. No one was Nuno out, I would say, but there was a section of the fan base questioning, have we improved from him to Cooper? Now, for me, I saw huge improvements. He's always been tagged as a defensive-minded manager. I don't really agree with that. I think he's more a mid-blocky, counter-attacky manager rather than a Cooper-style low-block manager. So for me, it looks like, you know, we're playing Galactico football at the Bernabeu at the moment. So, but it wasn't until the summer where we saw him in pre-season, and it was probably the best pre-season I've seen in years. I know they mean nothing, but you could see an identity, you could see a plan, you could see a structure going on, and that carried straight into the season. And from, you know, I know a few people in the club, and what they say to me is the respect he's got of the players is unconditional. When he starts to speak, the room goes silent. Everyone's listening to him. And this is a manager who does get disrespected. Like you said, what he did against Wolves, got him promoted, went 7th, 7th, 13th in the first 3 seasons he had there, and then got moved across to Spurs, where he won Manager of the Month. He had him top of the league to start with, and then it came down to that El Sakiko match, didn't it, with Man U, And was it Ollie
I think it
in
was
charge
Ollie
at the
was there.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Ollie in charge at the time. So yeah, and then obviously he went to Saudi, but he's come back, I think, with a point to prove. Does he make mistakes? Yes. His substitutions, we all question the timing of them, sometimes the personnel of them, but you expect that with managers. But honestly, I can't complain. I think he's taken us in that right direction, and a lot of people that may have doubted him the preseason, from then onwards, have kind of come around to thinking. And the key thing for him was that he beat Liverpool. Excuse me, mate. We haven't beaten them in 55 years. And especially that older generation who remember a lot of the Liverpool matches, the rivalry with them in the European days and stuff. Once he beat Liverpool, that was it. He's in the clear.
Man, it's like a little trophy, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, we needed that one.
Needed that one. Mate, talk to me about some of the summer signings then. Obviously, yourselves, like us, you like to bring in a high volume of players. In terms of, I mean, I'll be honest, I actually can't remember what players arrived this summer, but out of the sort of the guys that have arrived, who's impressed at this early stage? Are there any sort of standout ones that, you know, we should take notice of? You know, what players have settled in well and kind of made a good first impression?
So for me, before we talk about the signings, our two biggest signings of the summer were keeping Murillo and Morgan Gibbs-White. I know he was loosely linked to you, but he was linked to everyone as well.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. So them two staying was huge for us. But the best summer signing I think we've had is a player who's gone under the radar in Milenkovic, who's now his centre back partner for Murillo.
Oh, is that the guy from Fiorentina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 million. He's an absolute beast, and he's so mature. He's so calm. He's one of those defenders that you almost don't notice because everything he's doing is exactly what a defender should be doing. He's never like, you know, rushing into a late diving challenge because he's made a mistake. The game's always in front of him. And part of our success so far has been because of our defensive lineup, especially with those two as the centre backs. In terms of other signings we've made that have caught the eye, Elliot Anderson for me from Newcastle.
Oh, yeah. Good player.
Yeah, people think he's 35 million, but he only cost us between 12 and 15 million because of the PSR party stuff that was going on. So he's been really good, and Newcastle fans were really sad to see him go. And we've got another one in Jota Silva.
Oh, yeah, the Portuguese Grealish.
Yeah, it looks exactly like Grealish.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
yeah. He hasn't like put his name down in the starting 11 yet, but he's had a couple of substitute appearances, a couple of cup matches, and things like that. Got a cracking goal against Newcastle. So I'm excited to see him start, and I'm hoping he starts to get bedded into the starting 11 as well. It wasn't as manic as summer as we've had in previous transfer windows, but it was more kind of methodical. Where I say we missed out on was a striker. We tried to get Nketiah, which I'm glad we didn't get. And then,
mate, you man, you lot were bidding 25 million for every striker on the planet.
Honestly, mate, Nketiah. I mean, if he's worth 2.5 million, I'd be surprised. But luckily, his wage demands were like 120 to 140K.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. What have you done apart from bench warm? And then we tried to get Jimenez from Holland, from the Dutch league.
From Feyenoord, yeah.
Yeah. And he just didn't want to come. Things were agreed and everything. And now he's done his ACL or something. So he's out
picked
for
up
the
a lengthy injury, yeah.
Yeah. And then we got close with Omar Marmoush, who is now the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga. But again, that didn't quite get through. So we missed out on a striker because at the moment we've got Cristiano Woodinho and Taiwo Awoniyi. Wood is still scoring, but relying on those two to be fit all summer, all season even, isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple of others, a couple of, you know, names that people won't recognize, like Sosa coming in from South America. Good player. Spoke to Tim Vickery about him. He raves highly about him. And then we brought in a giant of a goalkeeper at 6'9", Carlos Miguel from Corinthians, for 3.5 million because there was a weird clause in his contract. So the business was good. It was surgical. And the other one we kept was your boy Callum Hudson-Odoi because he was heavily linked to Spurs, and he's been absolutely on fire.
Yeah, I mean, mate, let's talk about him briefly. Obviously, I was sad to see him go. He was one of, I mean, if you speak to people at the academy, he was probably one of the best players to ever come through the academy at Chelsea. Started, you know, really brightly. but as always, picked up a really bad Achilles injury, and then it just didn't really happen for him. And so yeah, he goes to Forest for about, I think it was about £3 million in the end. Might rise to 5. But it's still an absolute bargain. He's done really well. I think he scored against us last season at the City Ground in that 3-2 game, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty certain he scored.
He did, didn't he? Yeah,
I think he did. Talk to me about him, mate. What's his start to the season been like? How's he settled in at Forest?
He, for me, when he came in, you could tell he needed confidence. Like a goal was going to do him a world of good, and he got it. I think it was against Burnley, off the top of my head, quite early on. And then we just call him the cheat code because he does that cut in from the left hand side and that finesse shot from the edge of the box.
Good.
He did
it
against Liverpool the other day.
Yeah.
And you just think to yourself, how are the opposition not learning? How have they not, got him? Get him outside. You tell the right back, don't let him inside. But he finds a way to cut in, and he just seems to top bin it every time he goes for it. I'd say it's like a 6, 7 out of 10, in his attempts getting that goal in. And it's not just that though. He's like embedded into the squad. It looks like him, Elanga, and I think one of your old boys, Ola Aina, as well.
Oh yeah, Ola Aina was come through the academy at Chelsea as well. Yeah,
he is absolute quality. He's my favorite player. They've got this real kind of, you see it in the videos and stuff. Real mates. They just look like they're enjoying playing for Forest. And that's one of the reasons we didn't sell Elanga, is because Marinakis said he didn't want the dynamics to go, in relation to that. But in terms of Callum Hudson-Odoi, I would say it's the best business we've done money-wise, taking it out free transfers for a long time. 3.5 million.
I think he's your most dangerous player.
Yeah.
More dangerous than Gibbs White. Him and Gibbs White, yeah.
I think for me, Morgan Gibbs White is the playmaker, but his shooting is woeful. Whereas Callum Hudson-Odoi can play make, he can take a defender on. And that's what I've seen from him this season is, how I said he's always cutting in. Every now and again, he'll just take the defender outside, go around the back of him and create a chance. And because he's got that finishing, I put him ahead in terms of, that key spark in terms of getting those key goals like we saw against Liverpool. So yeah, I'm over the moon with him. I can't believe he only cost 3.5.
Yeah, I mean,
he's still young, mate. He's still young.
Yeah, he's still very young. I mean, he'll get a great reception on Sunday, and rightfully so. But hopefully, he won't come back to haunt us. We don't want that happening. Look, throwing it ahead to the game, mate. How can we expect Forest to set up? Because I remember Nuno. You've been talking about wingers here. Nuno at Anfield, where you got that win where no one really fancied you. You started with no wingers, you packed the midfield out, and it works well for you. Do you think, having seen that blueprint at Anfield, that Nuno could potentially look to do that again? How do you see the team being set up?
Yeah, I think that would be the smart thing to do. We kind of went in a 4-3-2-1 formation, a bit of a Christmas tree one. There was a lot of people talking about, would Nuno go back to a back 5? Because historically, he's done that at previous clubs. He hasn't really done that at Forest. And then at about the 65th minute, he brought on the wingers after the Liverpool players had been knackered out a bit. And he chucks on Hudson-Odoi and Elanga. And between them, they created and scored the goal. I think that needs to be the blueprint for this game. Is just keep it tight for 50, 60 minutes, then bring on the pace, bring on that second wave of attack, and then see if we can create it. Will he do it or not? I don't know. He got it wrong, as I said, in the Fulham game. He went to a 4-4-2 for some reason, which I hadn't seen in years at Forest. And he got it heavily wrong. So I think he will look at that blueprint. I think he would have studied the West Ham game, the Bournemouth game. I know they missed a penalty and what have you, but in terms of the style that they came up against you in the Palace game as well, and see how they were able to kind of lock Chelsea down. But I think, it's one thing putting it on paper. The way you guys are playing right now is going to be a tough ask.
No, it absolutely is, mate. I mean, just what have your thoughts been on Chelsea so far this season? Obviously, I think we've probably taken a few people by surprise with how we started, considering Maresca's very much a rookie manager. He's come in, and it's a big step up for him from Leicester, and he's made a really, really good start. I mean, I'm certainly surprised. A lot of Chelsea fans are surprised at how well we've started this season so far. What have you made of Chelsea from what you've seen of them this season? Have you been impressed? Has it surprised you?
No, No, and I have receipts. So for your chat, I had you down on my prediction video to finish second this season because I knew a lot of Maresca from his time at Leicester. Obviously, I got quite a few Leicester mates, and they talked to me about his style of football, how he's going to play, how even at training he literally stops training sessions to move players into the position exactly as he wants
Mate,
them.
positional play is so important.
Is so key for him. He's that methodical. And I thought with the amount of talent you've brought in, I know you lot get bantered like we did about the amount of players you've bought, but if he can pick the right 11 as your starting 11, get that settled in, or at least a 15-man squad where he's, just slightly rotating players in and out. I'm talking Premier League, obviously, not for your European stuff. Then I thought he was going to do very well. I think the only thing that surprised me is that I've seen his identity come through really quickly in the team. I thought it would take him maybe until about now for that identity to start to show. But I think that's the only thing that surprised me. In terms of where you are in the league, I probably would have thought you would be there. And I expect you to finish a lot higher. I've got you down as second, mate. So, and I got bantered from Chelsea fans for putting you down as second. But
Yeah, I mean, let's
I've seen plenty of them.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, obviously, we've got tough games coming off after the international break. We'll find out more about Maresca. We'll find out more about the team once we play the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle's, Man United, and whatnot, etc.
And Forest.
And Forest, of course, as well. And Forest can't forget them. But it's been an impressive start. He's done a good job, as you say. He's got his identity across pretty quickly, his ideas across pretty quickly. Obviously, we're still going to learn more and get better at them, at what he's asking. But yeah, it has been very promising. I mean, what players are you concerned about? Obviously, we've got so many attackers, a wealth of options at the top end of the pitch who have all contributed so far this season. But I mean, anyone in particular? I suppose Cole Palmer's the obvious one. But I mean, outside of him, who else has kind of caught you? What have you thought of Sancho?
Sancho, I've always thought there's a decent player in him, and anyone who goes to Man U gets the Man U virus, don't they? And they end up just rotting away. So, I think he's an upgrade. If you matched him to Sterling, I rate him a lot higher than Sterling by a country mile. So I think he did decent business there. But I like to look at the structure of the team, especially in the style Maresca plays. And I think honestly, Caicedo for me has been
He's been
really
brilliant this
solid.
season. Yeah,
really solid. You kind of see in the Brighton Caicedo, he had a very up and down season last season. But I think he allows the rest of your attacking players to be released. I like to look at the players that, do the unsung work. And I think he does a lot of that. And Midweki as well. I really do rate him.
he's been good.
Pacey, he's been good. He's confident, takes on his man. That's what you like to see from your wide player. But the one you're not using that I love is Nkuku. I think once he somehow forces his way into the team, I don't know where, but honestly, I saw a lot of him in the Bundesliga before he moved to Chelsea. One of the best seasons I've seen from a player.
Yeah.
So I expect him to do well. And obviously, Colwell will always have a special place in our heart for promoting us against Huddersfield in the final. So I like your squad in general, mate. I think your keeper's dodgy, really dodgy.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, and I'm still not that convinced by Jackson, even though he'll probably score now that I've said that. He's definitely playing better than he did last season. That miss he did at the bridge last year against Forest from about 4 yards out.
That wasn't great.
The bar. Wasn't great, but I know he's scoring. I just don't. I'm talking now about where you need to be, where Chelsea, in my lifetime, should be challenging for the title. I still think you need just a renowned number 9 up there. I know you were close with Osimhen and you couldn't get the deal done and everything, but I just think you're one number 9 of challenging properly against Man City.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting point of conversation. I mean, I think it's something we may well look to address probably next summer. See what options are available. But yeah, look, we've got players that can cause problems. Absolutely. I mean, to round out, mate, how do you see this one going? Do you fancy your unbeaten record at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League to stay in place, or are you thinking it might be a bridge too far? Excuse the pun.
Yeah, very, very good, mate. Very good. Yeah, I hate when Forest have records, mate, because they always get broken. We're undefeated away from home this season. Won quite a few as well. You haven't beaten us since we've come back up at the bridge. look, my head says you guys should win this. I don't think it will be spectacular. I think it'll be 1-0, maybe a 2-1. I think it'll be one goal in it. Obviously, my heart's saying, like, yeah, but if Nuno gets it right, we can do what we did against Liverpool. But with my head, I expect us to lose. Then again, I could see a draw. I hate predicting Forest to lose, but my head is saying we probably lose this one. But your biggest problem is the confidence you guys now have. The confidence
There's an
you have. It'll be the
expectation
most
now, yeah.
Chelsea thing. It'll be the most Chelsea thing where you're rising high, just like Liverpool. Exact same scenario. They'd won 3 in a row, hadn't conceded a goal. Forest came along, 1-0. I'd take it, but I think you'll win it. But it'll be tight.
Yeah, look, we got to feel confident heading into this game with the form that we're on, but
Yeah,
under
right.
under no illusions, this will be a tricky game. I think it'll be a lot more difficult than the game against Brighton last weekend, but I do fancy us to get the job done. I think there'll be a goal either way in it, so I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win, but I do expect you to cause us some problems. But mate, thank you for coming on as always. If people want to check out what you guys do, let them know where they should go.
Yeah, YouTube at Forest Fan TV. We'll be doing the watch along. We'll have match reaction. We'll have podcasts after on the Chelsea game. So check us out. We've done, how many we've done of these now, Charlie? 5, 6, 7.
Quite a few, mate. Quite a few.
Yeah, I'm just not used to you being all happy, mate.
Yeah, well, mate, I've got to enjoy it. Got to enjoy it whilst I can. Got to enjoy it whilst I can. You never know when the bad moments are coming. But yeah, guys, make sure you check out Forest Fan TV. Subscribe to the channel. It'll be tagged in the title. Go and show us some love. Loads of great content over there. I also did a Chelsea preview on the channel, so make sure you go and check that out as well. Guys, let's hope we can make it 6 wins in a row. Thank you for tuning in as always. Smash the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you again in another one soon.